This funny-looking little doll was the only passenger on a most unusual airplane trip. Its name is Damn It. It belongs to one of these three ladies. What is your name, please?
My name is Betty Miller.
My name is Betty Miller.
My name is Betty Miller.
Only one of these ladies is the real Betty Miller. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Jean Rayburn, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
Thank you very much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth, brought to you this week by Salem Cigarettes. Good evening, panel.
Hi, Bud.
Hey, we're full of ginger tonight, aren't we, huh? That's great. Would you kindly open up that first envelope and take out your first affidavit card and follow along with me? I, Betty Miller, am a licensed airplane pilot. I have logged over 6,500 hours in the air. Nothing particularly unusual had ever happened to me until last month. Then I had the thrill of a lifetime. I flew a small twin-engined airplane over 7,000 miles from California to Australia. I experienced only two anxious moments. Once, weather forced me to make an unscheduled stop. On another occasion, one engine almost conked out. My total air time was 51 hours and 38 minutes. I am the first and only woman to fly solo across the entire Pacific Ocean. Signed, Betty Miller. So, panel, we start this evening's festivities with three ladies, each of whom claims to be the same one. By name, Betty Miller. By fame, first woman to solo across the Pacific Ocean. And let's start this questioning with Tom Poston. Tom?
Thank you, Bud. Number two, because your accomplishment reminds us all of Miss Earhart's tragedy when she attempted to do more or less the same thing. Am I correct in assuming that that was more or less her flight plan? The one you took, number two?
Yes.
Where do you suppose, where is the general guess that she went down?
In the Philippines area.
In the area of the Philippines. Thank you. Number three, your flight took 51 hours and 38 minutes. How long would hers have taken to do the same flight?
I have no idea.
Can you guess number two?
I don't even know what kind of equipment she was flying.
Thank you. Number one, what does it mean when somebody says that that airplane has two fans?
Peggy.
Thank you. Number one, why did you call that doll Damn It?
That's what I felt like saying.
I see. Number two, who made Damn It? I mean, you know, where
Manufacturer?
Yeah, you know, is it an American doll, Damn It? I mean, is it called a Damn It when you go to Macy's to buy it? Say, give me one Damn It.
I don't know.
I see. Number three, planes were attacked by other little kind of things that they had dolls for once. Do you know the name of those?
What was that?
What is a gremlin, number three?
What is a gremlin?
A gremlin? Well, I know what it is, but I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
I see. Well, number one, where did you make your unscheduled stop?
number one?
Yes.
New Caledonia.
Thank you. Number two, what is the capital of New Caledonia?
Jean Rayburn is the capital of New Caledonia. Jean?
Number two, what is the cruising speed of your aircraft?
160 miles per hour.
How many inches of mercury indicated at that speed?
I don't know.
Number one, how many inches of mercury indicated at your cruising speed?
2.5.
Number three, I don't understand the connection between the doll and this unusual flight, and my hat's off to whoever did it. It's a daring feat. What is the connection between the doll we saw at the beginning and your trip?
He was just a good luck token.
And what's his name again?
His name is Damn It.
Yeah, well, I don't believe that part of it, but okay. Number two, what is the longest hop, nonstop hop you made on that trip?
Oakland, Honolulu.
Number one, how many gallons of gasoline?
Kitty.
Number 1, what did you take off the plane with you when you landed eventually?
I don't understand your question.
What did you have in your hand when you landed eventually? What did you get off the plane with when you made your final stop?
Damn it.
And what else?
I don't recall.
Number 2, what were you wearing for this flight?
A short-waist dress similar to the one I'm wearing tonight.
Number 3, what did you take off the plane with you besides the doll?
My purse?
And what else? Anything else?
No.
Number 1, how did you log all these hours?
By flying.
There you are. You ask a silly question, you get the same kind of an answer. And it's time for you to vote, so will you kindly do so? No time for any more questions, and of course, no consultation is allowed as you vote now for number 1, number 2, or number 3. Our team of challengers will, of course, get $250 for every incorrect vote. All ballots marked? Everybody through? All right, Tom, for whom did you vote?
I voted for number 3. I didn't agree with the answer to Gene's question about the mercury on 1 and 2, so I voted for number 3.
Peggy.
Well, I didn't know anything about mercury, and she seemed to know something, so I voted for number 1.
Gene, what is your choice?
I voted for number 2 based on her suntan, figuring that she was out there. And then I finished wait, I'm not finished. And then I suddenly realized she gave me the wrong answer on inches of mercury. She said 2.5 inches, and I've forgotten what number 1 said, so my vote is for number 1.
One said 2.5
Although it looks like I voted for a dollar sign.
You changed from number 2?
I changed from number 2 to number 1.
There is an inviolable rule on the show that you're not permitted to change once having marked the ballots. True.
Oh, it is?
True.
Yeah.
No one...
Well, just forget.
No one...
Am I under arrest or anything?
No. It's just a rule of the show, and I'm called to account afterwards if I let it go by. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to call out on number 2.
All right.
All right? Will you forgive me?
Okay.
All right. Kitty.
I want to say that I'm delighted to meet you all because I think you've struck a blow for women, and anytime that happens, I'm delighted.
Oh, come on, Kitty.
And I voted for number 3 because I read somewhere where Mrs. Miller left the plane with her handbag in her hand, and I thought that was also very feminine, very dear.
So we have it lined up that there are 2 for number 3, 1 for number 1, and 1, I'm sorry to say, for number 2. You can hold out against me that you really emotionally voted for number 1.
I may be right. Don't be
Well,
sorry.
let's find out. Okay. That's the way the votes line up. And so let's go right now to the moment of truth and learn which one of these ladies actually did that amazing flight of flying solo across the entire Pacific Ocean. So will the real Betty Miller please stand up? So as it turned out, Gene, there was no harm done. You would have been wrong either way. It didn't really matter. Our congratulations to you, young lady.
Thank you.
I'll bet your husband's nails were pretty well chewed down to the quick when he finally got the all clear that you'd landed safe and sound.
He held up pretty well.
I'm glad he did, without even a damn it either, huh?
Right.
Number 1, may we have your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Margie Mae Hauser. I work for Chaplain's Aid Association in New York City.
Thank you. And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Diane Durham. I'm a field representative for the Ladies' Home Journal.
Well, when we check the score, we find that it stands at 2 and 2. A 50% fooling job is a very good job with this panel, believe me. And twice $250 is $500, ladies. That's not bad for an evening's entertainment, which we hope you had. We know you gave it to us, and we thank you for that. That comes to you, of course, from Salem Cigarettes, along with a carton of Salem's on your way out. Thank you for being with us. Good night. God bless you. Now, everyone, let's relax for just a minute and take a look at this beautiful film and discover a new world of springtime. And now, let's meet our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Harry F. Harlow.
My name is Harry F. Harlow.
My name is Harry F. Harlow.
Panel, will you kindly listen and follow along with your copies while I read from this affidavit? I, Harry F. Harlow, am a professor of psychology. Currently, I am engaged in a research project endeavoring to answer the question, what is love? In my experiments, I utilize over 500 monkeys and dozens of cloth and wire dolls similar to the one the panel is examining. At birth, I divide my monkeys into 3 groups. One group with their own mothers, another with the dolls as substitute mothers, and a third with neither a monkey mother nor a doll. Some of the monkeys in each group have monkey playmates, some do not. My experiments lead me to believe that companionship and play may be as important as mother love in the development of normal, healthy individuals. Signed, Harry F. Harlow. All right, panel, these gentlemen all claim to be Dr. Harry F. Harlow, professor of psychology. May we start this cross-examination with Peggy Cass?
It's not the first time I've been a monkey's mother, is there? Mr. Harlow, number 2, in which university is this project being researched?
Cornell University.
Thank you. Number 1, is a cloth soft mother as good for a monkey as a real mother?
The attachment to the cloth mother is as strong as to a real mother.
Thank you. Number 3, if a monkey had no mother and no playmate, would it be a maladjusted monkey?
Yes.
Now, if it had no mother and
it would still have Gene Rayburn. Gene?
Number 2, how close are you to the resolution of the question, what is love?
It'll take years.
It will? Number 1, do any of your patients or subjects or whatever you call them develop ambivalent feelings toward their mother?
Not that I know of. Do you?
Well, I don't know. Number 3, when was this project started?
This project was started about 20 years ago.
Kitty.
Number 1, did you start this project with a mere wire netting and an electric light bulb inside?
We never put an electric light bulb inside.
To make it warm? Number 2, did you ever use an electric light bulb inside the terry cloth?
Yes, we did.
You did. Number 3, do you think that a monkey's nervous system is close enough to a human being's to make this project valid?
Yes.
Number 1, when the monkey is maladjusted, how does he behave if he hasn't had any playmates?
He's unhappy. He's maladjusted.
Number 2...
Tom.
Is he angry?
How do you play this thing? Number 2, you said that you use light bulbs inside. Do you use anything to heat them now?
The light bulb supplies the heat.
You mean you still use the light bulb inside?
Yes.
Do you agree with that, number 3?
We haven't used the light bulb for quite some time.
Do you warm them at all?
Yes, at times.
How do you do
We
that?
have tried 2 different methods. One was with the light bulb, and the other was with a plastic container with hot water that gradually cools to see what the reaction of the monkey is.
And that's all the time we have. So let's see what your reactions are now. Substitute mothers or no, mark your ballots, if you will, please, at once and without change. And, of course, no consultation is permitted as you vote for number 1 or number 2 or number 3. Has everyone voted? Very well. Tom, for whom did you vote this time?
I voted for number 3. First of all, he was the only one that answered me at any length. In the second place, he's just got that phony Dr. Muff on there. It's just the kind of thing that these nuts would do to us here on the panel, try to get us not to vote for him. So I say, he looks marvelous.
All right. Peggy.
I voted for number 1 because I thought he seemed as though he really knew about it, and like if you questioned him too much, he gave you sort of a dirty look, which means like you should know that.
Gene, which one did you choose?
Well, I didn't vote for number 1 because he gave me a dirty look. And I didn't vote for number 3 because he looks too professorial, and I figured, you'd have to bring someone like that in to try and get us to vote for him, so I voted for number 2.
Well, you've got three choices, Kitty. With which one are you casting your lot?
I'm delighted to vote for number 2 because this is a project I've read about for a long time, and I do know they started with electric light bulbs. I've threatened my children to give them one of those mothers when they get too tough. So I voted for number 2.
All right, there we have it. Yes. And a real widely split up vote it is. 2 for 2, 1 for 1, 1 for 3, and with that we march forward to find out who's right and who's wrong.
Number 3 is Henry Morgan again.
Let's learn now which of these is the real Henry Morgan, or rather, which one of them is the gentleman who is professor of psychology conducting these interesting experiments. Will the real Dr. Harry F. Harlow please stand up?
Yeah!
Peggy! Well, I guess all that time you spent with those monkeys paid off a little. Yes,
Didn't they use electric light bulbs to start with?
In one minor experiment, we used a heating unit, not an electric light bulb.
Thank you. You can't believe anything you read in the
No,
paper.
you sure can. Number 2, may we have your real name, sir, and what do you really do? You got most of the votes.
I'm Donald R. Osborne, and I'm a lawyer from New York City. He was pretty smart, wasn't he?
A lawyer for you?
New York City.
And number 3, may I ask you your real name and what you really do, sir?
My name is Bud Torini. I am an art teacher and a magician.
Well, when we check the score, we find there are 1, 2, 3 incorrect votes. And at $250 each, gentlemen, that's a nice round total of $750 you take away with you. Yes, you can well afford to congratulate each other. It comes to you, of course, from Salem Cigarettes, who also have a carton of Salem's waiting for you as you leave. Our thanks, gentlemen. I hope you had fun. Good night, and God bless you. I'd like to set the record straight. There was one thing in all the talking afterward that I forgot to mention, was that Dr. Harlow is professor of psychology and director of the primate laboratories at the University of Wisconsin. That's where he is.
Go monkey around with that.
No monkey around with that. And now, may I present a little something for you, because in the next 60 seconds, they are guaranteed to put you in a refreshing frame of mind. So you present our next team of challengers.
What is your name, please?
My name is Gloria Peters. My name is Gloria Peters. My name is Gloria Peters.
Panel, you all have copies of this next affidavit. Will you follow along as I read from mine? I, Gloria Peters, am a field representative for the Mobil Travel Guides. My job consists of personally inspecting over 600 different hotels, motels, and restaurants in the area I cover. Then I rate each of the establishments on the basis of quality, comfort, and service. I arrive unannounced and only reveal my identity as an inspector after I've paid the bill. The guides accept no advertising and are revised every year. The latest editions list 3,275 United States cities and towns and rate 15,415 accommodations and restaurants. Signed, Gloria Peters. So we have 3 ladies, each of them claiming to be the same one, Gloria Peters, Mobile Guide Field Inspector. And we'll start this round with the host of the match game, Gene Rayburn.
Thank you, Bud. Ladies, number 2, tell me what the American plan is.
3 meals a day.
I see. Number 3, how do you rate a hotel? Is there a certain designation you use?
We rate all hotels, motels, and restaurants with from 1 to 5 stars.
1 to 5 stars?
Yes.
Now, what would a 1-star hotel be?
Well, we don't list any place that we don't feel is good, but it goes from 1 to 5 in excellence.
So a 5-star would be the highest rating?
Yes.
Number 1, do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Number 1, when you make a tossed salad, I assume since you also rate the restaurants, you know something about food. When you make a tossed salad, do you tear the lettuce with your hands or do you cut it with a knife?
I tear it by all means.
You tear it by...
Kitty.
Number 3, do you have a point system for rating these hotels?
Actually not. We make a conglomerate impression.
I see. In other words, you wouldn't, number 2, you wouldn't say the bellboys were rude, so they get 10 demerits, or...
Oh, no.
No. Number 1, do you tip when you go to these places?
No.
Do you, number 2? Ah. Number 3, who publishes this Mobile guide?
Simon & Schuster.
Number 1, who's the head of Simon & Schuster?
I don't know the president.
Number 2, do you know?
I believe his name is Berger.
Number 3, do you agree with that?
Mr. Schuster, I think.
Number 1, where is Simon & Schuster?
It's in New York.
Tom.
Thank you. Do you tip number 3?
If I'm eating or staying in the place I'm investigating?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, number 2, do you? You said you didn't. Under those conditions, do you?
Well, if I'm having my meals there, yes, then I tip.
Because otherwise you'd tip your whole mitt, wouldn't you? That they'd know you must be somebody. If you didn't tip, they'd say, who is this? Must be from the Mobil. Number 3, how thick is that guide?
Oh, it's about so big.
Thank you. Number 2, what color is the current one?
It all depends on whether you want restaurant or your motel or hotel or resort.
Peggy.
Number 1, how many regional guides does Mobil Oil put out?
6.
Thank you. Number 3, after you eat the meal, do you go and ask to see the kitchen?
Yes.
Thank you. Number 2, do you give extra points for washcloths and big soap?
No, but
You should.
I think that's a good point.
Thank you. Number 3, this seems to be patterned on a famous European guide, which gives 3 stars for restaurants. Could you tell me the name of that guide?
The Guide Michelin.
Thank you. Number 1, is Gloria Peters a trade name, or is it your real name?
No, it's my real name.
I see. I thought maybe you had a lot of Gloria Peters for each region.
No, and that's all the time we have, too. So will you kindly mark your ballots right away, at once, and without change, and, of course, the usual barrier on consultation as you're voting. And vote for number 1, number 2, or number 3.
Couldn't we ask a few more questions?
I wish we could, but we can't. So I'll ask you a question, Tom, and it goes like this. For whom did you vote?
I voted for number 2.
Think fast.
It's like a guess. What can I tell you, friends?
Peggy.
Well, I voted for number 3 because she knew about the Guide Michelin, and I don't know, she just seemed to be sort of hip about looking in the kitchen. I like her to look in the kitchen. I'd like to know it's clean up there.
Gene Rayburn, which one do you think is the real one?
I think Peggy asked the question, and so I voted for number 2. Now, I didn't know when she...
Number 3 you voted
Number
for.
3. This is my night, isn't it? No,
Make
but
up your mind, you crook.
she answered so quickly about the Gesellmingstaft or whatever that was.
The guide.
And I didn't know whether it was right or wrong, but it sounded convincing.
And what were you convinced by, and to what end?
I think number 3 gave marvelous answers, as did number 2, but we didn't ask number 1 enough. And I voted for her.
Did you?
All
I
righty.
did.
Heart. Bless your heart. I'm so glad.
I
Good
did.
sound reason. I like that.
Huh?
Okay, split up high, wide, and handsome this time. Let's see whether we came up to the truth and shied away from it, or whether somebody got it and just who at the moment, as we learn which one of these ladies really is the field inspector for the Mobil Guide. So will the real Gloria Peters please stand up? Thank you. Well, Peggy and Jean got together on that one. Shows you what wanting a clean kitchen will do. It leads you to the right answer, too. I think it's interesting to note that Gloria Peters is married. She is the mother of 5 children. She is currently a scholarship student at Seton Hall University, where she is studying law 5 nights a week. Wow. All right, let's find about these other 2 now. Number 1, what is your real name and what do you really do?
My name is Jean McGregor, and I'm the administrative assistant for Robert Saudick Associates.
And number 2, what is your real name and what do you do?
My name is Maggie Sinclair. I'm a housewife and also volunteer chairman of the Eastern General Hospital, New Jersey.
Good girl. Well, we checked the score and find that there were 2 incorrect votes, and at $250 each, $500 coming your way, and I never saw 3 ladies who didn't know what to do with $500. Our thanks to you. It comes to you, of course, from Salem Cigarettes, and there will be a carton of Salem's waiting for you as you leave, and we're sorry to see you go. Hope you had fun. Goodbye, and God bless you. And now a word about the protection of your floor. To say the time is all gone, and I thank you, panel. Good night to you.
Good night, Bob.
Good night to all of you. Don't forget to join us again next week, and I'll be with you tomorrow afternoon on the daytime show. In the meantime, may I remind you once again, this time for Salem Cigarettes, to tell the truth. Good night, everybody.
To Tell the Truth is a Mark Goodson, Bill Todman production. Miss Carlisle Spurs by Hartenstein. Tell the Truth has been brought to you tonight by Salem, the cigarette that refreshes your taste. Johnny Olson speaking for To Tell the Truth. This program was pre-recorded.